28. What's her name's in 2028 as well? Jeez, I blanked on her name. Sarah Strong. But like for the for Team USA, I mean this when I say this. Like Reagan Beers is going to be probably a lottery pick. I still stand by that Hannah Stuelke was better than Reagan Beers when in the games that mattered. In the games that mattered, Hannah Stuelke coming on the switch onto Camila Cardoso with the block. She's guarding Camila at this stage.
Recent international competition has highlighted several prospects for the upcoming WNBA draft, with particular attention focusing on players who demonstrated exceptional performance in high-pressure situations. Among these emerging candidates, Hannah Stuelke has generated significant discussion regarding her potential fit with the Indiana Fever organization. The 2028 draft class appears poised to surpass the highly anticipated 2027 group in overall talent depth. Notable prospects including Michaela Blake, Sela Swords, and Sarah Strong comprise a formidable collection of potential professional players. This future talent influx suggests teams should carefully evaluate immediate versus long-term roster construction strategies.
She's guarding Camila at this stage. In the fourth quarter, she's guarding Camila Cardoso. She's coming up onto her. She kind of hedges the screen, gets a steal, and gets it there. Like, this is two back-to-back, or not back-to-back, two fourth quarter possessions. Really close game. Great defensively. And again, if you're looking at the team stats, so Hannah Stuelke was averaging, again, her stats aren't going to be out in the major, but she averaged 5.9 points.
Team USA's international roster showcased impressive depth, with several players exceeding expectations during meaningful competition. Reagan Beers continues receiving lottery pick projections, though her performance in crucial moments faced scrutiny when compared to other roster members who stepped up during high-pressure situations. Stuelke's defensive versatility became particularly evident during fourth-quarter sequences against elite opposition. Her ability to switch onto larger opponents like Camila Cardoso while maintaining defensive effectiveness demonstrated the positional flexibility that modern basketball increasingly values. These defensive switches in crucial moments highlighted her basketball intelligence and physical capabilities.
But she averaged 5.9 points per game, but on 75% from the field. 4.7 rebounds per game, 16 minutes per game. But if you're looking at similar enough players, obviously look, Grace Van Slooten was putting up similar numbers. Jana Niepkins was killing it up to a point. But if you're looking at games that mattered, they played two games that really mattered, and they were against... were Puerto Rico good? Yeah, Puerto Rico were okay, Mexico were...
Statistical analysis reveals modest but efficient production during international play. Stuelke averaged 5.9 points per game while shooting an impressive 75% from the field, adding 4.7 rebounds in just 16 minutes of action. While raw numbers appear limited, efficiency metrics and impact during meaningful possessions tell a more compelling story. Comparative analysis with other prospects shows similar production levels to Grace Van Slooten and competitive output relative to Jean Nepkins during tournament play. However, performance evaluation requires context regarding game situations and opponent quality. The most significant contests occurred against Canada, Puerto Rico, and Brazil, providing legitimate testing grounds for prospect evaluation.
Were Mexico good? No. Puerto Rico and Brazil. Against Brazil, or even Canada, to be honest, she was a plus 15 against Canada. She was a plus 15 against Canada in a real close game. And this is a game where they won it in the fourth. They were down going into the fourth, Were they down? No, they were down at halftime. But she's plus 15, and if she goes and plays 7 points in the final, obviously the plus 42 doesn't really matter.
Against Canada, Stuelke recorded a plus 15 rating in a closely contested game that required fourth-quarter execution to secure victory. The team trailed at halftime before mounting a comeback, with Stuelke contributing 7 points in the final period. This performance demonstrated her ability to impact winning basketball during pressure situations. The Puerto Rico matchup resulted in a plus 21 rating during an 18-point victory, achieved in only 15 minutes of playing time with 4 points scored. Her defensive contributions throughout this contest proved particularly valuable, showcasing the intangible impact that doesn't always appear in traditional statistical categories.
Really matter. She's plus 21 in an 18-point win against Puerto Rico in only 15 minutes with 4 points. She was defensively really solid. Really solid. Look, she's not going to do anything major. But we saw from her playing with Caitlin Clark, like Hannah Stuelke, realistically, is a track star. She sprints the floor like nobody else, and she has the ability to play. She has the ability to play as a small ball.
Stuelke's athleticism represents perhaps her most translatable professional attribute. Her sprinting ability and floor coverage exceed most prospects in her class, providing immediate value in transition situations. This speed advantage could prove particularly valuable in systems emphasizing pace and athletic advantages. Positional versatility allows for multiple roster construction scenarios. While not projecting as a long-term center at professional levels, her ability to provide emergency minutes at the 5 position adds valuable depth. Primary projections suggest power forward capabilities with potential small forward development over time.
As a small ball 5. Like, she was significantly better than Flaw J. Johnson over the tournament. She was way better than Audie Crooks. It's probably similar enough level to Grace Van Sloten. But, like, she was their 5 at large stretches during the final. During the final, she was their center. And it's not like she was playing as non-WNBA opposition. There was Cardoso there. There was Demiris Dantas there. And I don't think she's going to be able to...
Previous experience playing alongside Caitlin Clark provides familiarity with high-level point guard play and system requirements. This existing chemistry could accelerate professional adjustment and reduce typical rookie learning curves. Understanding Clark's tendencies and preferences represents an undervalued asset. Current draft projections place Stuelke in the second-round range, potentially making her available when Indiana selects. The Fever currently hold the 7th seed position, projecting to receive approximately the 9th overall pick. Second-round accessibility could provide excellent value if development projections prove accurate.
And I don't think she's going to translate to a long-term center position at the WNBA level, but she can fill in there. She can fill in at the 5. She can play the 4. She can run the floor. She's athletic. She is a sprinter. She's got good hands. She's played with Caitlin. She plays defense. She can be a role player. There is everything needed in a... I mean, the Fever don't need another star. They're going to have the 10th or 11th pick. Like, as of right now, the Fever...
Mock draft analysis reveals several prospects projected for Indiana's selection range. Candidates include Chloe Kitts, Sarah Williams, Medina Okot, Ashlyn Jackson, Garzison, and Kiki Rice. Positional needs analysis suggests some prospects offer better immediate fit than others, particularly...
Like, as of right now, the Fever as a 7th seed, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Fever are going to get the 9th pick in the draft, and she's going to be there at 9. Like, if we look at the 2025 WNBA draft, or 2026 WNBA mock draft, if you are looking at players that are projected to be there at the 10, let's just say they get 10 in the draft, they finish the 6th seed, players that are expected to be...
Comparison with established professionals reveals motor and energy levels that veteran players struggle matching. This physical intensity advantage has proven valuable for recent rookies, including Angel Reese, Anissa Miro, and Kiki Jefferson, who exceeded expectations through sheer effort and athletic ability. Draft strategy considerations include potential trading scenarios to secure specific prospects. Teams like Las Vegas and Chicago have demonstrated willingness to package picks for targeted acquisitions. Indiana could explore similar strategies if specific prospects align with organizational priorities. Alternative prospects merit consideration depending on draft position and availability. Players like Janiyah Barker offer different skill sets that might complement existing roster construction. International prospects such as Awake Kuok represent high upside selections if available at appropriate draft positions. Injury considerations affect several prospects, including Ashley Watkins, who suffered an ACL tear. Recovery timelines and athletic restoration will influence draft positioning for affected players. Medical evaluations become crucial factors in prospect assessment and selection strategy. The evaluation process must balance immediate contribution potential against long-term development possibilities. Indiana's competitive timeline suggests prioritizing players who can contribute quickly while maintaining upside for continued improvement. System fit analysis reveals Stuelke's compatibility with pace-based offensive approaches. Her transition running ability and defensive switching capacity align with modern basketball trends, emphasizing versatility and athletic advantages over traditional positional restrictions. Development pathway considerations include position flexibility and skill expansion opportunities. While current projections suggest power forward utilization, guard skills development could expand her eventual role and impact within professional systems. Team building philosophy should emphasize complementary skills rather than duplicating existing strengths. Indiana's current roster construction suggests needs for athletic frontcourt players who can defend multiple positions while contributing to pace advantages. The prospect evaluation process must consider both individual capabilities and system integration potential. Stuelke's combination of athleticism, defensive versatility, and existing chemistry with franchise cornerstone players presents compelling arguments for selection consideration. Market analysis suggests second-round value could provide excellent return on investment if development projections prove accurate. Organizations succeeding with similar profiles demonstrate the potential upside available through careful prospect identification and development commitment. Risk assessment includes limited offensive creation ability and questions regarding consistent scoring contribution at professional levels. However, role player projection reduces pressure for immediate offensive production while emphasizing defensive impact and system integration. The decision-making process should weigh immediate roster needs against long-term organizational building strategies. Stuelke's profile suggests both immediate contribution potential and continued development possibilities, creating attractive dual timeline value for organizational planning. Breaking developments have emerged regarding the Indiana Fever roster as Caitlin Clark receives medical clearance to return from her groin injury. Head coach Stephanie White confirmed that the rookie sensation will be available for the upcoming matchup against Golden State Valkyries at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, pending no unexpected setback. The announcement has generated significant excitement throughout the basketball community, as Clark's absence has lasted 5 games and created noticeable challenges for Indiana's offensive system. Her return comes at a crucial time as the Fever have struggled to maintain consistency without their primary playmaker and leading scorer. Clark's rehabilitation process reached a significant milestone during recent practice sessions, where she participated in full 5-on-5 scrimmages for the first time since sustaining the injury. Medical staff and coaching personnel monitored her movement patterns and overall comfort level throughout these intensive sessions. White emphasized the cautious approach being taken with Clark's return, noting that her availability depends on continued progress and the absence of any physical regression. The coaching staff will evaluate her condition following each practice session to determine her readiness for competitive action. The timing of Clark's potential return coincides with an intriguing roster development involving Ari McDonald, who has filled the point guard role during Clark's absence. McDonald's emergence creates interesting strategic possibilities for the Fever's offensive schemes moving forward. White discussed the potential for utilizing both guards simultaneously, drawing comparisons to successful dual point guard systems from previous coaching experience. This approach could provide Clark with opportunities to play off the ball while maintaining her influence on offensive flow and decision-making. The coach referenced her previous experience implementing multiple point guard lineups, specifically mentioning successful partnerships between Tara McCowan and Erica Wheeler. This historical context suggests confidence in managing the potential integration of Clark and McDonald on the court together. Strategic implementations of the dual guard system would likely remain organic rather than strictly predetermined, according to White's statements. The flexibility to adjust roles based on game situations and opponent strategies could provide Indiana with additional tactical options. Specific scenarios for dual guard usage might include dead ball situations and specialized offensive sets designed to exploit particular matchups. The coaching staff appears prepared to experiment with different combinations to maximize both players' strengths. Clark expressed enthusiasm about returning to competitive action after spending several weeks observing from the sideline. She acknowledged the difficulty of watching games without being able to contribute directly to team success during crucial moments. The guard indicated uncertainty about expected playing time during her initial return, but emphasized her readiness to compete at whatever level of involvement is deemed appropriate. Her focus remains on contributing positively to team performance regardless of minute restriction. Clark's approach to her return return emphasizes energy and awareness rather than attempting to immediately resume her previous statistical production levels. This measured mindset suggests understanding of the gradual process required for full integration back into game action. The Fever's recent struggles have highlighted Clark's importance to team success, particularly in close game situations. Statistical analysis reveals concerning trends in fourth quarter performance that coincided with her absence from the lineup. Indiana's inability to close out games effectively during Clark's absence has created urgency around her return. The team's record in games decided by small margins has been particularly problematic, emphasizing the need for her playmaking ability. Recent losses, including a disappointing defeat to the Los Angeles Sparks, may have accelerated the timeline for Clark's return. The coaching staff appears motivated to avoid additional costly defeats during what should be a competitive portion of the schedule. The integration of McDonald alongside Clark presents both opportunities and challenges for offensive coordination. Both players possess strong ball handling abilities and court vision that could create dynamic backcourt combinations. Potential lineup configurations might mirror successful college partnerships where Clark thrived alongside players capable of initiating offense independently. This could allow Clark to focus on scoring opportunities while maintaining her playmaking responsibility. White's comments about getting Clark off the ball suggest recognition of the benefits that could come from reducing her primary ball handling responsibilities. This approach might help preserve her energy while creating different scoring opportunities. The coaching staff's emphasis on organic development of the dual guard system indicates willingness to experiment during game situations rather than forcing predetermined roles. This flexibility could prove valuable as both players adjust to shared responsibility. Practice footage and reports suggest Clark's physical condition has progressed significantly since the initial injury. Her participation in competitive scrimmages represents a crucial step toward full game readiness. Medical evaluations will continue throughout the process to ensure no setbacks occur during her transition back to competitive play. The cautious approach reflects lessons learned from previous injury management situations. Recovery protocols include ongoing assessment of movement quality, pain levels, and overall comfort during basketball activities. These evaluations will determine the extent of her involvement in upcoming games. The announcement of Clark's return has generated widespread social media reaction and renewed interest in Fever games. Fan excitement reflects the significant impact her presence has on team performance and entertainment value. Basketball analysts have noted the strategic implications of Clark's return, particularly regarding playoff positioning and team chemistry development. Her integration back into the lineup could influence Indiana's trajectory for the remainder of the season. The timing allows for gradual reintegration before more challenging portions of the schedule arrive. This could prove beneficial for both individual and team preparation for crucial upcoming contests. White's confirmation represents the culmination of careful medical evaluation and gradual progression through return-to-play protocols. The decision reflects confidence in Clark's physical readiness and understanding of game demands. The Fever organization appears committed to managing Clark's return responsibly while recognizing the competitive necessity of her presence. This balance between caution and urgency will define the approach to her reintegration. Recent developments within the Indiana Fever organization have revealed significant tensions between coaching philosophy and front office expectations. Lynn Dunn, currently serving as senior advisor, publicly questioned current strategic approaches through social media commentary, creating visible friction in organizational leadership. The controversy centers around head coach Stephanie White's implementation of a motion offense system that limits Caitlin Clark's primary ball handling responsibilities. This strategic decision has generated criticism from multiple stakeholders, including front office personnel, fans, and basketball analysts who believe the approach underutilizes Clark's exceptional talents. Indiana's roster construction followed a deliberate strategy of acquiring veteran players with playoff experience, including Dana Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson. These personnel moves suggested championship aspirations, yet inconsistent performance has raised questions about strategic execution and player utilization. The fundamental issue revolves around offensive philosophy and how best to maximize Clark's impact. During her collegiate career at Iowa, Clark operated within a read-and-react system that positioned her as the primary decision-maker and offensive catalyst. This approach allowed her to average over 8 assists while scoring 28 points per game, demonstrating her ability to elevate both individual and team performance simultaneously. Current motion offense principles emphasize ball movement, player movement, and shared offensive responsibilities among all team members. While this democratic approach can create opportunities for role players, critics argue it diminishes the effectiveness of elite individual talent by reducing their decision-making authority and creative freedom. Statistical analysis supports concerns about strategic limitation. Indiana's offensive rating measured 107.5 with Clarke on the court compared to 82.2 during her 20-minute absences, representing a 25-point differential that highlights her crucial importance to team success. This dramatic variance suggests the current system may not adequately compensate for Clarke's unique contributions. White's coaching background includes experience with Connecticut Sun, where she previously implemented similar motion offense concepts with different personnel. However, critics note that Connecticut's roster lacked a player of Clarke's caliber, making the strategic approach potentially inappropriate for Indiana's current talent configuration. The timing of organizational tensions coincides with disappointing team performance despite high preseason expectations. Recent losses have featured periods where Indiana maintained leads while Clarke struggled shooting, only to surrender advantages when abandoning successful tactical approach. These patterns suggest systemic issues beyond individual player performance. Dunn's social media commentary specifically addressed practice preparation and execution expectations, stating that players cannot be expected to execute concepts not properly drilled during training sessions. While seemingly general coaching wisdom, the timing and context suggest direct criticism of current preparation methods and strategic implementation. Fan reaction has been increasingly critical of coaching decisions and personnel allocation. Questions about significant contracts for role players like Katie Lou Samuelson have emerged alongside broader concerns about organizational priorities and resource allocation. These criticisms reflect growing dissatisfaction with strategic direction and player development approaches. The motion offense requires precise timing, movement, and decision-making from all participants to function effectively. When Clarke was sidelined due to injury earlier this season, team offensive efficiency plummeted to 82.2, indicating the system's dependence on her basketball intelligence and playmaking ability despite theoretically distributing responsibilities among multiple players. Clarke's recent performance against New York Liberty demonstrated her potential impact when given greater offensive freedom. Between scoring and assists, she accounted for 54 of Indiana's points in that contest, illustrating what becomes possible when strategic constraints are relaxed and her natural abilities are fully utilized. The contrast between college and professional utilization patterns raises questions about development philosophy and long-term planning. This represents a crucial second season for Clarke's professional development, yet current limitations may hinder her progression from rookie success toward MVP caliber performance levels. Organizational communication patterns suggest deeper structural issues beyond simple strategic disagreement. When front office executives publicly question coaching methods, when fans openly criticize personnel decisions, and when former staff members weigh in on current approaches, these dynamics indicate fundamental misalignment in organizational vision and priority.